The galaxy often whispered about Earth, but few truly understood it. Far worlds believed humans were unpredictable, brave, stubborn, and sometimes frightening when pushed too far. Most species knew that Earth kept to itself. It traded politely. It avoided trouble. It forgave often. Yet there was one truth that every trained diplomat carried in the back of the mind. Do not harm a human without understanding what Earth might do in response. This warning meant little to the Dominion Council of Rieth. Their empire had expanded rapidly across nearby sectors. They conquered weaker planets and bent smaller species into submission. They viewed themselves as rulers of order. Their approach was simple: break one to scare hundreds into silence. So, when they captured a transport ship near a neutral zone and discovered a single young human girl among the cargo crew, they believed she would be easy to frighten. She had no rank. She carried no weapons. She was simply a maintenance worker named Lee. She expected a trade inspection. Instead, she was taken to a holding chamber. They demanded information about Earth's defensive systems, about human alliances, and about the small research vessel she worked on. Lee knew nothing beyond basic maintenance logs, but the officers refused to believe that. They questioned her. For days, they raised their voices at her. They tried to intimidate her with threats. She was frightened, but she refused to lie. She refused to give them fake answers. She kept saying the truth. She did not know anything valuable for the Dominion. Officers, it was a waste of time. They dismissed her as useless. Yet they sent digital recordings of her state to a private channel used by upper command. They wanted to show they had caught a human and that they were willing to pressure her. They believed this would prove their strength. Earth's listening. Posts intercepted fragments of these transmissions. The signals were scrambled. The images were grainy. But everyone on Earth's Defense Council saw the important part. A human citizen was being held against her will by a regime known for abusing prisoners. The council chamber fell silent. No one raised their voice. No one demanded war. The only thing spoken was a single calm order. Activate Program Dawn. Most humans did not know that Program Dawn existed. It was hidden even from many military divisions. It represented the strongest and quietest response Earth possessed. They were not machines. They were not experiments. They were volunteers who had spent years training under gravity spikes, neural focus fields, and survival environments that tore down ordinary limits. Each one was chosen for control, discipline, and a heart steady enough to make decisions under pressure. They were the Dawn Team. Their commander was a man named Halle. He spoke little. He studied details more than he expressed emotion. Yet he felt the same quiet fire as everyone else when he saw the intercepted images of Lee. He did not shout. He did not show anger. He simply nodded once. Then he said one sentence: "Bring her home." The Dawn Team left Earth in a vessel with no registry markings. It traveled through dark channels, past stars no one charted. Their goal was not to start a war. Their goal was to rescue a citizen and remind the galaxy that Earth protected its own. Lee, meanwhile, sat in a quiet corner of the Dominion detention facility. She felt tired, but she stayed hopeful. She believed Earth would negotiate something. For her release, she did not expect soldiers. She did not expect anyone to come for her. She only wished to return home. The facility was a metal complex with angular corridors and cold lighting. Dominion guards walked in pairs and carried shock batons, which they often lifted to intimidate prisoners. They did not understand human resilience. Lee sat still each time they tried to provoke her. She did not give them the fear they wanted. On the 10th cycle, the alarms suddenly went quiet. The screens on the walls flashed white. The automated doors locked themselves. The guards exchanged confused glances. None of them knew that Dawn Team had already breached the outer systems. They had moved like shadows. They did not fire unless necessary. They avoided casualties when possible. They used silent tools that disabled circuits and blinded surveillance. Inside the command room, a Dominion officer stared at the panels. Nothing responded. Every security feed showed the same thing. Static. Then a new signal broke through. A simple message. Return the human. The officer growled in frustration. He ordered his units to form defense lines, but none could see the threat. The Dawn team did not march through the front gate. They entered through the underside of the station, using a sealed port forgotten by the Dominion engineers. The first guard barely had time to register movement before he fell unconscious. Hale led the charge. His steps were controlled. His posture calm. He carried no heavy rifle. Instead, he used compact tools designed to disable without causing lasting harm. He moved with precision, learned through long practice. In front of him, his team advanced with equal discipline. 3 members shielded the path with devices that absorbed stun blasts. 2 specialists took control of door panels with override codes. They pushed through the lower levels. Dominion guards attempted to respond, but everything happened too fast. The Dawn team seemed to know the layout better than the facility architects. They predicted guard positions. They moved in patterns that broke enemy formations. Within minutes, they reached the detention block. Lee heard the faint hum of locked doors opening. She stood slowly. Her heart raced. She expected Dominion officers to drag her to another interrogation. Instead, the door slid open, and she saw a tall human soldier step inside. His voice remained steady. "Lee, we are taking you home." Her eyes widened. She barely understood how they reached her so quickly. Hale helped her stand. He checked her condition calmly. Then he placed a small shield device on her wrist. It flickered. "With a faint light. This will protect you as we move. Stay close behind me." The team began escorting her down the hall. Guards tried to block their path, but Howell deflected stun shots by raising his arm shield. His team responded only when required. They swept the corridor and cleared a safe route. Lee felt nervous, but she trusted them fully. She had never seen soldiers move with such control. The station commander attempted to broadcast a message to Earth. It said that the Dominion would not tolerate an invasion. It said that Earth had overstepped its authority. But the Dawn team intercepted the broadcast. They replaced it with a different message. It simply said, "A human citizen was taken. Without cause. We are retrieving her. No threats. No grand statements. Only clear intent. As the team reached the extraction point, Dominion reinforcements rushed in with heavier gear. They believed they could stop the humans by showing overwhelming force. They surrounded the area. They raised their weapons. They shouted orders. Hale stood in front of Lee. He raised one hand to signal his team. They activated a dome-like device that shimmered around them. The Dominion fired, but the shots bent away from the shield. The Dawn team did not fire back. They only advanced slowly. Hale projected his voice across the hall. "We do not wish harm. We are leaving with our citizen. Stand aside." The Dominion officer, leading the reinforcements, hesitated. For the first time, he realized the humans were not here for conquest. They were here for one person, and they were doing everything to avoid further conflict. The officer lowered his weapon slightly. He knew his forces could not break the shield. He knew continuing would risk greater retaliation. So he stepped aside and signaled the others to open a corridor. The Dawn team walked calmly toward the hangar bay. Lee felt tears in her eyes, not from fear, from relief. She whispered a thank you, but Hale simply nodded. "Protecting our people is our duty." They boarded their extraction craft. The hangar doors opened. The vessel launched into the dark void, and jumped to faster travel. Dominion officers watched helplessly. They realized that their attempt to intimidate Earth had failed completely. When Lei arrived back on Earth, she was taken to a recovery center. She met representatives who treated her not as a symbol, but as a person. They asked about her health. They listened. They made sure she understood she was safe. Earth issued a short public statement. A citizen was taken unlawfully, but is now home. There will be no war if peace is respected. Across the galaxy the story spread. Some worlds admired Earth's resolve. Others feared awakening human strength. But the most important reaction came from ordinary people on distant planets. They realized that Earth did not fight for power. It fought only when needed. And it fought for its own with loyalty unmatched by any empire. The Dominion Council held emergency meetings. They tried to explain how elite soldiers had breached a fortified station without causing destruction. They tried to defend their actions, but the galaxy watched. Many planets questioned the Council's behavior. Some withdrew support. Others demanded reforms. The Dominion found itself under pressure from all directions. Lee quietly returned to her life. She took time to heal. She spent long hours at her family home, where she told simplified versions of her experience. She did not enjoy attention, but she appreciated the kindness people showed her. She often wondered how the Dawn team trained to move with such precision. She wondered how they stayed calm in danger. One day she was invited to meet the Dawn team. Again, the group stood in formation as she approached. They bowed slightly in respect. She thanked them from the bottom of her heart. Hyalai answered with a small smile. "You showed courage long before we arrived.